In this video, I'll be telling you what I believe to be the best ranged weapon for each stage of Terraria. This is mostly going to be based on how easy each weapon is to obtain, but it's also largely going to be based on how good they are at face value. For the early game, the snowball cannon is a very effective and easy to obtain weapon. All you have to do is dig down through the underground ice biome, find a few ice chests, and then you'll have the snowball cannon in no time. The biggest reason to go for this item in the early game is that the underground ice biome is possibly the safest area to explore for good loot. The desert and jungle have slightly better gear, sure, but the ice biome is much safer to travel through. The snowball cannon has more than enough DPS to deal with the Eye of Cthulhu and make progress through the game. For mid-pre-hard mode, the best weapon to obtain by far is the boomstick. It's a little rare, but if you explore enough of the underground jungle, you will eventually find it in a chest. This weapon does pretty insane damage for how easy it can be to collect. It's great for bosses and crowds of enemies at the same time, and the boomstick can make quick work of Eater of Worlds, Brain of Cthulhu, and Skeletron. It's definitely one of my favorite weapons in the entire game. For late pre-hard mode, the best ranged weapon is of course the Hellwing Bow. Well, not of course, but I would definitely say it's the best weapon here. After defeating Skeletron, go and explore the dungeon and open chests until you find a shadow key. After that, go down and explore the underworld biome, unlock a few of these shadow chests, and then pick up the Hellwing Bow. It's that simple. This weapon does more than enough damage to justify using it already, but that's not the only good thing about it. Because the Hellwing Bow converts wooden arrows into a super strong projectile, there is no need for you to grind for better arrows with this weapon. You can simply buy a bunch of arrows from the merchant, and then you'll be set for not only the Wall of Flesh, but the entire rest of pre-hard mode as well. Before we talk about hard mode, if you agree with anything I've said in this video, or you just like this content in general, don't forget to subscribe. I make a lot of content just like this, and I think you'll enjoy it a lot. Anyway, back to the video. For early hard mode, my go-to is always the dart rifle. Simply find or summon a corrupt mimic, kill it, and there's a good chance it will drop this weapon. At face value, it might not have the best DPS in the game or anything, but it's so easy to obtain. Since you likely aren't going to be spending a lot of time in early hard mode anyway, the most effective weapon is going to be the one that's easy to collect but also does a lot of damage. If you have a Crimson World, you can simply kill a Crimson Mimic and then get the alternative, the Dart Pistol. From what I know, this weapon is a little worse than the Dart Rifle, but it's still really good for taking down the mech bosses and moving on to that later stage of the game. For mid-hard mode, you should definitely go for the Mega Shark. It's as simple as beating the Destroyer, buying the Mini Shark, and then getting 5 Shark Fins. This weapon is insanely forgiving for players with worse aim, since it fires at such a fast rate and you can miss a bunch of shots. This gun combined with chlorophyte bullets is an insane crutch for worse players, and I mean that in a good way. You can land hundreds of shots while barely even aiming the Mega Shark, which will shred through the likes of Plantera and even Golem. After reaching the late game, I believe the Eventide is the best ranged weapon, for sure. With a 25% chance of dropping from the Empress of Light, the Eventide does phenomenal damage against basically every enemy at this point in the game. The Tsunami drop by Duke Fishron is in a very similar position, and it is very viable for the late game as well, so you could go for that, but I still think the Eventide is a much better choice. And finally, for the end game right before Moonlord, I would definitely go for the Phantasm. This weapon is essentially the same deal as the Eventide, but better. It's a bow that shoots out a bunch of arrows at a time, dealing massive damage to enemies and boss fights. As long as you know what you're doing and you have decent enough aim, the Phantasm will easily get you through the Moonlord boss fight. The Vortex Beater isn't a bad option either, but it's significantly less accurate, and I don't know, I would really never recommend using that over the Phantasm. And those are what I believe to be the best ranged weapons for each stage of Terraria. At the very least, I believe that these are the most accessible options for most players, even if they don't deal the most damage on paper. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.